2 months ago, I bought this Sony A7 II, and even though it looks like it's in great shape, and even though I've taken it apart and put it back together twice now, it is still, in its current state, a $135 paperweight. This video is sponsored by Soundcore. Now it's time for what I'm going to call Storytime with Arthur. Several months ago, I was browsing Craigslist and FaceTube, and I came across this listing for an A7 II. It was $300, and at first I thought it's a scam listing, and then I took a look at it and I thought it had to be broken. And it was. Now, if you don't already know, Sony full-frame cameras have had issues with their mechanical shutter curtains or mechanisms here for years. The Sony A7, the Sony A7 II, and the Sony A7 III can develop issues where the shutter curtain, which I have here in front of me, this is the broken one that I took out of the camera, just either jams or breaks completely off, and it renders the camera useless. Essentially, you cannot use it, you can't take photos, you can't do videos with it. And this is a very costly repair. If you were to take it to a professional, they would charge you upwards of $500 to replace this little part in the camera. There's actually a class action lawsuit that has been put together regarding this issue on the Sony A7 III. So I ended up driving and picking up this Sony A7 II, and the guy's story was a familiar one that I've read at least in the past. He was using this camera for a gig, and all of a sudden his shutter broke and he couldn't take any more pictures. He brought the camera home, looked it up online, tried to fix it with some pliers, and ended up completely shattering and breaking apart the mechanism. And so there are actually no blades on this unit that I pulled out of the camera. Now, the kicker with this deal is that it was actually a bundle. Not only did I get the A7 II camera body, but I got 2 batteries, I got a genuine Sony quick charger, and I got a lens, the 28-70 variable aperture kit lens, all together for $300. My goal with this purchase was a simple one. I wanted to see just how cheap I could get this camera body down to, so I started selling off all of the accessories. I ended up selling the lens for $149, I sold each of the camera batteries for $18, and then I sold the Sony charger for $20. And then after I deducted for selling fees, eBay and PayPal, and shipping fees, my net cost for this camera body in its broken state was $135 US. Now that I had a dirt cheap camera body, the only problem was obviously it did not work. So I scoured all of eBay and I found a brand new shutter curtain mechanism. And this is where the fun began. I was gonna rip this thing apart and replace it. Now, I searched all of YouTube, and fortunately I did find a video documenting and showing you how to go through and do this replacement DIY style. The only problem, or at least for most people the problem would have been, is the video was in Russian, but fortunately for me I do speak and understand Russian, so it was clear and easy for me to follow along. I spent 6 hours fixing this thing, not because I'm slow or not mechanically inclined. On the contrary, I work on stuff like this and on cars for fun all the time. But taking the A7 II apart was daunting. There were a lot of tiny screws, all of them different sizes, and a lot of thin, fragile ribbon connectors. Fortunately, I took it apart, swapped the mechanism, and put it all back together. If you look at the aftermath and how I kept track of everything, it looks like a very elaborate bank heist, but it's just taking apart a camera. Anyway, I inserted a battery and started the camera, and it made a nice and loud motor grinding noise, and it still didn't work. So that was a bit frustrating, but I couldn't give up on this camera. I had to keep going and I had to keep trying. So I took it apart one more time, all the way down, and I played around a little bit with the motor that actually triggers the curtain mechanism. And I got the new shutter to open, put it all back together perfectly, inserted a battery, started it up, and it worked for a brief moment until I turned it off. Then the curtain closed, and again, when I tried to start the camera up, it would create this loud grinding noise. Here, let me show you. Just doesn't sound healthy, does it? So that is where I am now. I have a camera that is partially fixed, at least it has a shutter curtain installed in it, but I still need to replace the actual shutter mechanism motor. So I ordered that yesterday, $62. I have to wait a couple of weeks for that to arrive, and then I will take this thing apart for the third time, put it back together, and hope that it will actually work as it's supposed to. I feel like I'm finally getting into that hoopty camera owner lifestyle. Anyway, so this video did not end up going the way that I had planned and did not go the way that I expected. And along the same lines, I did not expect what happened when I received the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro headphones. Oh, cool.
What is that?
These are the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro headphones with thump and sound that I'm trying out for an upcoming video.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, and they have multi-mode noise cancellation. So if you're on a plane, you can turn on noise cancellation. But if you're on a run and you want to hear your surroundings, you can turn on transparency mode.
Well, you know my birthday's coming up in 3 months.
Did I mention you can use them to make calls as they have 6 noise canceling microphones built right in?
Wow, I could talk to my mom for hours.
The battery lasts for 7 hours, but with the included case, it charges these headphones for up to 26 hours of total playback time.
That should last me all day.
1 week later.
Hey, have you seen those Soundcore headphones that I got like a week ago anywhere? I haven't seen them. It's like I lost them.
I can't say I can remember where I saw them last.
In all seriousness, these Liberty Air 2 Pro headphones are awesome. My wife did actually steal them and she has been using them on a daily basis on her runs. They sound excellent. They are nice and bassy straight out of the box, but you can also fine tune them and equalize them through the app. They offer transparency mode as well as great noise canceling, so I would highly recommend checking them out if you are looking for a great set of headphones. They're also very comfortable. I spent 6 hours plus wearing them without having any pain, and so they are very good for long durations of use. So special thanks to Soundcore for sponsoring this video. I'll post links down below to where you can pick up some of these headphones, and you can check pricing as well. So check that out down below. So that is going to be it for this failure of a cheap Sony A7 II video. This is part 1, and once I actually fix this thing, I will post a part 2. So stay tuned. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to this channel. As always, thank you so much for all of your comments, all of your likes, and your support. Let me know down in the comments if you guys would have enjoyed spending 6 hours listening to a Russian tutorial on how to disassemble and reassemble a Sony full-frame camera, all to save a little bit of money. Anyway, that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Stay tuned for more. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Say bye. Bye. Say bye. Loud. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.